I've spent over 400 hours in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, and in this video, I'm going to walk you through how to unlock every single achievement within the game. If you're looking for something specific, check the timestamps in the description, where you'll also find a full link to my Notion guide with step-by-step instructions for each achievement, along with my complete 100% run in a single playthrough over on my channel, Griff Gaming. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Now let's get started. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 has 48 achievements within the base game, with several more DLCs scheduled to release this year. I'll link guides for those down below as soon as they drop. As far as the base game, I'm splitting those into 3 categories: main questline, side quests, and activities. First, we'll start with the main questline achievements, 18 in total, with 11 being missable and 7 being earned through natural story progression. In an attempt to keep things as spoiler-free as possible, I'll only cover the missable achievements in detail. The first missable achievement is Deja Vu, earned during the prologue quest, Easy Riders. Once you arrive at camp, Hans Capon will guide you through the combat tutorial, then challenge you to a duel. All you need to do is win. If you're confident in your combat skills, this should be straightforward. However, if not, check out my KCD2 Starters Guide, which covers several combat tips the game never explains to make this fight much simpler. Once Hans is defeated, this achievement will unlock.
I yield! Enough!
Old Raven is unlocked during the main story quest, Back in the Saddle. After gaining access to Trotsky Castle, Hans and Henry are sent to Nabokov Fortress. You'll need to break into the dungeons there and speak with the prisoner. Traditionally, the guard Hertel will be blocking the door, but if you talk to Michael the Adjunct, he'll let you speak with the groom Petzdel, which opens up the option to have a horse race. This race is extremely easy, and since Hertel is your opponent, he runs the race in real time. At the start, make sure you turn left, go down the hill beside the fortress, being careful not to fall, ride straight to the mill, and follow the same route back. If you follow this route, you should beat him by almost 2 minutes, giving you plenty of time to get back, open the door, talk to the prisoner before he has time to return to his post. You can either pick the medium locked dungeon door, or, slightly before challenging him, sneak through the kitchens under the walkways and pickpocket the prison key out of his inventory. Once in the prison, speak to the prisoner, agree to fetch reinforcements from von Bergau, and this achievement will unlock at the end of the dialogue. Silence is Golden is unlocked during the main quest, Necessary Evil, and requires you to convince Otto von Bergau that no one helped the bandits. You'll need to get 2 key pieces of information from the bandit you interrogate: who is helping the bandits in the region, and where they're based. Drinking a fox potion and applying either a mentha or a lime perfume beforehand can boost your stats enough to pass most of the checks, but if you rush the early game and your skills are still low, check my Notion guide for alternate ways to get this information. Once you have it, speak with von Bergau, and most importantly, select Nobody Help the Bandits here. If you accuse Olda, you'll fail the achievement and need to reload a prior save. Next, choose the bandits control Nabokov when asked about their location, and this achievement will unlock at the end of the conversation.
Henry?
Rock and Stone can either be unlocked in the main quest, The Finger of God, or later on in the story, so it begins at the start of the Battle of Sukdo. The requirement is simple: kill an enemy with a boulder during the fight. You can locate the pile of stones in the battle area, pick one up, and wait for the enemies to charge into the door and drop it directly on their heads. Once the enemy dies from the impact, this achievement will unlock. Tales of Kuttenberg is a bit unique as it's tied to both the main quest, Taking French Leave, and a side quest called Rosa's Book. At the start of Taking French Leave, you'll be rescuing Hans from Malashov, and this is when Rosa's side quest, Rosa's Book, should trigger. You'll need to grab her book from the 3rd floor of the castle in Lady Ofka's chamber. You can either speak to Lady Ofka and attempt one of her speed checks, or simply knock her out and take the book from the windowsill. Once you have it, continue Taking French Leave until you're back within Kuttenberg. Give Rosa her book, help her finish the stories in any way you want, flip through the book fully, and then speak to her one last time. The achievement will unlock after that final conversation.
Perhaps I...
Die Another Day requires you to keep Christopher Odoran alive during the assault on Raborsch in the main quest The Feast. You'll briefly be playing as Godwin for this section, and at one point you'll be told to fetch wine for John of Liechtenstein from the Raborsch castle basement. Make sure you save your game here with either a save or stop or an exit save, as if Christopher dies at any stage, the achievement will become unobtainable. After saving the game, grab the pitcher of wine, and before you're able to make it all the way back upstairs, a short cutscene will play with the castle being attacked. Head into the courtyard to find Christopher, the one dressed in all green, and stick as close to him as you can. Godwin's armor here is subpar, so focus on quick strikes to enemies, preferably already distracted while fighting Christopher, and try to avoid getting surrounded yourself. If at any point you get the quest failed notification, reload your save immediately, as this means Christopher has died. After fending the attack off as Godwin, controls will switch back to Henry to clear the rest of the courtyard. After regaining control, make sure to open your inventory right away and swap into proper armor, otherwise you'll be stuck fighting in your waiter's clothes. Christopher has never died during Henry's section in any of my playthroughs, but it's still worth finding and protecting him just to be safe. If Christopher survives the entire battle, this achievement unlocks as the fighting concludes.
Still can't quite do that. Done here.
The Hydra's Head requires you to kill all 3 commanders of Sigismund's camp and can be done during the main story quest, The Lion's Den. The 3 commanders that need to be killed are Chertan, Grozov, and Katz, and must be done in specific ways. After enlisting in Sigismund's army during the celebrations, you'll find that Chertan has been stabbed. This is scripted and cannot be changed. Next, you'll need to follow up on the clues to his killer, and this portion must be pinned on Grozov of Brumlaka. Start by searching for clues around the cannon storeroom. You'll need to investigate the blood trail, the broken lock by the door, the black powder spread on the ground inside the building, and the lockpick by the cart. Next, speak to Katz, go to the infirmary where you'll find that Chertan has now been poisoned. Start the investigation by picking the easy level chest right by Chertan's body and getting the book called the Book of Poisons. Sneak your way into Musa's tent and he'll ask you to examine Chertan's body for clues. When investigating, make sure to search Chertan's head, body, and torso for clues to the poison, then read the Book of Poisons again to match all the symptoms to the correct one used, and flip your way to the last page so the objective is complete. Speak to Musa once again, tell him the poison that was used was the Kiss of Death, and the final step is to investigate Grozov's tent, where the only thing you need for your accusation to be successful is to look at the table of herbs on the right. With these steps completed, wait until morning to start the trial. There's honestly a lot more you can do with the quest that will aid in your investigation, and even someone you can potentially recruit into the Devil's Pack if you speak to them, but I'm just giving you the bare minimum that must be done to pin the blame on Grozov. Once the trial begins, select the following dialogue options with the Imperial Inquisitor, and Grozov will become infuriated and attack, leading everyone at the trial to kill him. The last portion of this achievement involves killing Katz during the ambush led by the Devil's Pack. As you leave the camp, there's a large explosion in the camp, and you'll have to kill the soldiers with all your allies. After the battle's finished, before speaking to Ziska, you'll find Katz cowering in the corner of the battlefield. You can kill him here, and as soon as he's dead, the achievement will unlock.
I'll show you.
No good deed requires you to save Malashov without being detected, which takes place during the main story quest, Dancing with the Devil. While speaking to the Dry Devil, refuse to torch the city by selecting the correct dialogue options, then defeat him in a duel. Using a weapon coated with the Bane poison can make this fight easier, but be careful because he's still capable of performing master strikes. After defeating him, you'll need to sneak through the camp to open the front gate undetected. Equipping an outfit with very low noise and visibility will make this considerably easier, and there'll be 2 soldiers guarding the gate along with several in the rest of the camp. As long as you're quick, the only ones you'll have to worry about are the 2 at the front gate. First, start by throwing a rock towards the stairs to lure away the guard on the right. Once he's at the stairs, throw another rock a bit further up to get him to go up the stairs onto the wall. Next, throw a third rock to the spot the initial guard was standing to lure away the one on the left. If all goes well, you should be able to hug the left side and go straight to the gate. Right before opening the gate, make sure to swap back into your armor, as a massive battle will follow immediately and can make this rough if you're not properly protected. As soon as you exit your inventory, if you've managed to reach and open the gate without triggering an alert, the achievement will unlock even if you're spotted at the very end of this sequence.
Show what you're made of.
High Noon is another unique one as it's technically an activity, but I'm grouping it with the main questline achievements because the most reliable way I've found to get this is during the quest Dancing with the Devil. After winning the battle on the Outer Bailey, enter the castle courtyard and speak with Zizka and Capon on the wall, then choose to negotiate with von Burgau. Picking the correct dialogue options here will allow you to attempt to break into the tower to rescue Rosa, and it will always spawn a gun-wielding enemy in a confined space, perfect for getting this achievement. As long as you have a pistol with lead shot or scattershot being preferred for its widespread, you can take this guy out while he's trapped within the hallway. This can be tricky as there's also a crossbowman that spawns beside him, but baiting out shots by standing in the doorway, then ducking for cover and shooting while they both reload can be an easy strategy for getting this achievement. Try to make a save before attempting, but otherwise, fire away until the gun wielder is dead, and this achievement will unlock as soon as you shoot him. True Cardinal requires you to make it through the council meeting without raising suspicion during the main story quest, The Italian Job. You'll be controlling Godwin for this section, and a few critical steps can make or break this achievement. At the very start of the meeting, select Continue Formally, followed by The Pope has not reached a decision. Picking a side too early or saying the Pope doesn't care before speaking to anyone will immediately make people suspicious of you and fail this quest. Next, you'll need to make sure to stay slightly drunk for the entirety of the meeting. There's a wine cask in the council room you should interact with right away. Skipping this step will mean Godwin's Latin will be noticeably worse and you'll be caught very quickly within 1 or 2 interactions. 2 cups of wine are usually enough to last through the rest of the meeting. During the meeting, avoid dragging out conversations as in this case more talking just increases your chance of slipping up. The only NPCs you need to interact with for this achievement are Musa, Albic, Abbot Jan, and Father Anthony. Choose the correct dialogue options with each to maximize your odds within your final closing statement. You can still do harmless interactions with Janosch to keep helping Henry out in the next section, like summoning the cook, without affecting this achievement, and I suggest you do so. Once you've talked to all 4 of the essentials, speak to Janosch to start your closing speech and select Musa is right, then you need to understand each other and finally calm down. If all was done correctly, this achievement should unlock at the end of the dialogue.
The rest is up to you, Henry.
Face-to-face requires you to meet directly with Markbart von Aulitz during the main story quest, Reckoning. Markbart will be located in the tavern at the center of Sukdol, which is now an enemy camp. This can be approached in several ways. First, you can equip some very stealthy gear with low conspicuousness and noise and sneak your way through the camp, throwing rocks to move enemies out of your path. If you're feeling frisky, you could also just kill everyone at the camp. There's around 80 soldiers here, but having a fairly high damage bow, some black arrows which can be gotten from this archer by giving him raven's feathers, dipping those in bane poison, and selecting some perks in your archery skill tree to buff damage from arrows will make most of the soldiers in this camp go down with a single shot. The third and final option is to disguise yourself as one of the soldiers. If you still have the Progger's Waffenrock you receive in the main story quest The Lion's Den within Sigismund's camp, put that on top of any armor you will have to help you blend in with the soldiers within the camp. If you don't have it, killing a soldier on the outskirts and equipping their Waffenrock works in a similar way. Henry will make a comment about what he's wearing if you're in the correct uniform.
I'm wearing the Prague colors, so we shouldn't stand out too much.
And while the uniform gives you immunity through most of the camp, you still can't walk through the front door of the tavern as it's considered a private area. By starting at the front entrance of the tavern, turn right, go towards the back exit, take a left just before it, and cut through the tents to an opening in the wall where you'll see 2 soldiers and a pair of wagons. The ladder is also a private area, so distract them by throwing some rocks, then climb the ladder to the courtyard. The only way inside is a very hard lock on the tavern door. There's sometimes an NPC that usually has the key stationed just outside the door, but he does wander off and patrol sometimes, so don't always count on him being there. Once inside, head through the left-handed door to reach von Aulitz, and this achievement unlocks at the start of your interaction. That does it for all the missable main questline achievements, so let's move on to the achievements tied to side quests. There's a total of 8, and while all could be considered missable, the ones marked in red can become unobtainable if any prior quests in the questline are failed, or the quest will automatically fail after reaching a certain point within the main questline. Man's best friend is earned by rescuing Mutt in the side quest of the same name, Mutt. Head to the marked spot on your map where you'll find a bandit near a dead deer carcass. While the journal might point you to several other locations first, you can skip all of that by simply examining the carcass, then going straight to this spot just outside the nomad's camp. A short cutscene will play and this achievement will unlock. Henry the Bruiser can be unlocked by winning a fistfight in either the side quest The Best for Last in Trotsky or Nail in the Coffin in Kuttenberg. Before either quest becomes available, you'll need to complete a few prerequisite quests listed on the screen. Once those are done, head to either Herbalist Barnaby to the north of Trotsky Castle or the Gravedigger in Kuttenberg and challenge them to a brawl. There's no rematch option if you lose these, so I strongly recommend saving beforehand. Defeat either opponent in the fistfight and this achievement will unlock.
There. That's that. The new
Dodge makes.
Truce can be earned by completing the side quest The Battle of the Frogs and Mice in Trotsky in a specific way. This quest becomes available after completing either the side quest Frogs in Jelyov or Mice in Taketh. Once one of these is done, you'll be asked to go to the pasture and have a fist fight. Instead, choose to solve it peacefully by first speaking to Bailiff Thrush, reading the book on his stand, and having the scribe translate it if your scholarship level is low. Then go to the pasture where the nail is located. Make sure not to pull it out, just examine it.
Ah, here's the damn nail, right in the middle of the pasture.
Return to Thrush, who agrees to settle the matter, then speak to either Olbram or Proshek about going to the field, and select the following dialogue options. If done correctly, the scene will play out without violence, and this achievement will unlock.
None of that. They're the ones.
Under a brown flag can be unlocked during the side quest Striped Tonys in the Kuttenberg region, but only after completing Yackers and Fash for Foreman Vlosh. During the quest, you'll come across the All Saints Tavern while patrolling with Anton and Franzi. Choose the revenge option, then sneak into the tavern without being detected, as being spotted will fail the achievement. Equip some gear to lower your noise and visibility, and save before attempting just to be safe. The easiest route is to circle around the back of the tavern, jump up the log piles over the fence, climb up the ladders on the scaffolding, slip through the window, and climb the ladder on the right. Turn left at the top, and you'll find the zipline where you can hang the braze outside the window. Once you hang the braze without being detected, this achievement will unlock.
What a sight.
Both of these next two side quests must be completed before starting the main story quest Oratoris, as progressing the main questline beyond that point will automatically fail both quests and make both achievements unobtainable. The first one is called Master of Masters, which is available during the side quest Lost Honor in the Kuttenberg region. This quest doesn't appear through normal quest markers, instead you'll need to trigger it via a random encounter at a specific point on the map. Either fast travel past this location or go here on foot and you'll be stopped by Yeshek Oholohlavi, who will try to rob you. You can either pay him, beat him in combat, or pass a speed check to get his quest to recover his armor and horse. Your target is Zavrish of Garbro within Sigismund's camp. Before going to the camp, make sure you have all the following items. You'll need a polearm, a one-handed weapon with a shield, and a longsword in your inventory, as all these are required for the tournament and will not be provided for you. Optionally, you can coat all these weapons with a Henry tier Bane poison before starting to make winning the fight extremely easy. You also need around 300 Groschen to wager with before starting the tourney, and a warfare skill of at least around 24, or some decent clothing that has your charisma around level 20 in order to pass Zavish's stat check. Once you have all these items, find Zavish's shield outside his tent, speak to him, pass a stat check, and wager the Groschen to begin the tourney. The order of events will be polearms first, then one-handed weapon with shields, and lastly you'll compete with longswords. Between each event you'll have time to speak to the Bathmaid just outside the arena to heal any damage you may have taken in the previous round, and gives you a chance to make a save since you must win all 3 events for this achievement. Simply winning 2 out of 3 is not enough. Once you beat him in all 3 events, speak to Zavish, and this achievement will unlock. Henry the Matchmaker is earned during the side quest Hush My Darling in the town of Miskowitz and is easily one of the trickiest achievements to get in the game. Your goal is to knock out a man named Black within Sigismund's camp and carry him all the way to Victoria in the forest. First, start the quest by speaking to Martha, craft her 2 pairs of horseshoes, and after turning them in, search Victoria's room for clues. Find the bloodstain in her room, check in with Martha, optionally talk to Kuba, then head for Sigismund's camp. Before entering Sigismund's camp, make sure to have at least 1 digestion potion of any quality within your inventory, and optionally a Henry tier Aesop potion that we can use a little bit later on, and try waiting until evening. As soon as you enter Sigismund's camp, an invisible timer will start, and this next part is most easily done at night. Taking longer than 4 in-game hours after entering the camp will lead to a negative outcome and might make this achievement unobtainable. Once in the camp, start by speaking to the blacksmith in the camp, then speak to the soldier Black located at the infirmary and give him the digestion potion. You can either pass a speech check to get information from him right away, or wait about 2 in-game hours for the potion to take effect. Select the following dialogue with Black, then go to the spot Victoria is on the map. While speaking to Victoria, you can choose the speech check option on this screen, or simply choose the About Black option. However, while on this screen, you must pick the Hang in there a while option. Passing the speed check or any other response will block this achievement. Now go back to Black at Sigismund's camp and make sure to make a save right before attempting this next sequence, as it's extremely difficult to do. Within the infirmary, there's a guard right outside who can be distracted by throwing a rock. Once he's distracted, choke out Black and pick him up on your shoulder. Also, just be aware that Musa can be seen walking through the infirmary, but luckily he tends to be a bit of a moron. Oh no, Musa! Musa! Holy shit, Musa did not see us, which is incredible. Next, follow this exact route to get back to Victoria. I've found that the western gate is easiest to sneak out of for this portion, since you can hug the wall to the right as soon as you leave and avoid detection with a low enough noise level. While this route does tend to be a bit longer, going out the gate to the east brings you right by all the tents within the camp, and the guards are much harder to avoid without killing them and alerting the entire camp to what you're doing. Once you've snuck out of the camp, follow the route on screen, making sure to also avoid the front gate guards, and make your way back to Victoria. Just before entering the woods, drink the Aesop potion if you have one, since you can't defend yourself while carrying Black, and this will greatly reduce your chances of being attacked by wolves and wild dogs while walking through the forest. After reaching Victoria, place Black down somewhere near her, speak with her, and after a short cutscene, this achievement will unlock. As a side note, you can save yourself an additional trip by knocking out Black right after he tells you where Victoria is, but this has sometimes broken the quest, and I've had some issues doing the quest this way, with Victoria just simply not acknowledging that Black is in the area. If you want to try it, feel free, but to make sure everything works as intended, I suggest following the steps I mentioned before.
What other choice do I have?
Remember is available after failing the side quest The Spark in the questline for the guild in Kuttenberg. First, you'll need to complete both Feast for the Poor and the Thieves Code for Chenyek, then wait for around 3 in-game days. Eventually, you'll be approached by a messenger of the guild who will trigger the side quest The Spark. Follow the objectives until you meet with Goliath at the camp, and make sure to save before speaking with him, as this achievement will kill you and give you a unique game over screen. After speaking to Goliath, fail the quest in any way listed on the screen, and go back to the camp you were just at with Goliath. Since the black powder barrel is still in your inventory, you'll have a unique interaction you can perform with the campfire, and once you do, you'll die, and this achievement will unlock. And finally, rounding off the side quest category, the achievement Been There Done That isn't tied to a specific side quest, but rather by completing around 100 total quests within the game. This has varied for me in the past, but anywhere from 100 to 107 seems to be the sweet spot for this achievement. It doesn't matter whether it's main questline, side quests, activities, or DLCs, but they do need to be passed and unique. Spamming the melee at the mills or Kuttenberg tournaments 100 times won't count towards this goal. Progress towards this can be tracked in your player menu under Statistics, Quests, and Quests Completed. Once this number reaches around 100 to 107, this achievement will unlock.
I agree.
The final category I'll be discussing is activities, which can be done at any point in a playthrough, and all but 2 of these don't have any fail criteria as far as I'm aware. Starting off, Old Friend requires you to find Pebbles. He can be found as soon as the prologue ends at the stud farm in Sameen. Examine Pebbles before speaking to the groom and either buy him or pass a speed check to acquire him for free. Once he's yours, this achievement will unlock.
Forget to get some proper
Fancy Fighting requires you to kill an enemy with a combo. You can see the combos your character knows in the player menu under combos, and using any of these except the unarmed ones to kill an enemy is valid. You can get this as early as the opening battle while playing as Godwin, as he has all 10 longsword combinations available, or at any point in the playthrough. This achievement unlocks as soon as you kill an enemy with a combination. My Shoes requires you to have your shoes stolen while passed out from being drunk. This is much easier with a low drinking level, since maxing that skill out will make it very difficult to black out. Start by acquiring as much alcohol as you can, preferably schnapps and moonshine, at any of the taverns across the map. Next, remove everything from your inventory, including keys, groschen, and equipment, by moving it to either your shared chest or your horse. The item that goes missing can be random, so this ensures the only thing someone can steal is your shoes. Equip a crappy pair of shoes you don't mind losing, and drink alcohol until you pass out. You'll wake up in a random location, and with any luck, your shoes will be missing. If it doesn't work, you'll have to try again, as this is RNG and isn't guaranteed to trigger every time. Once your shoes go missing, this achievement will unlock. A Knight's Word requires you to pay back Bozhena for taking care of you and Hans in the prologue. This has to be done before getting into Kuttenberg, as sometimes the prompt disappears after that point. Not sure if this is a bug or intended, so do this sooner rather than later in your playthrough. This will cost 150 Groschen, and this achievement unlocks as soon as you pay her.
It's about Pavlena.
Without Protection requires you to break an enemy's shield. Perk Shield Breaker in the heavy weapons skill tree can help improve the odds massively while using maces or axes, or it can be done with a sword or your fists. This achievement unlocks as soon as you break an enemy's shield. Jack of all trades requires you to engage in each of the minigames offered within the game. All the minigames required are alchemy, blacksmithing, weapon sharpening, farkle, pickpocketing, and lockpicking. Once each of these activities has been completed at least once, this achievement will unlock. Under Pressure requires you to kill 3 opponents while bleeding. This can be done in a single battle or in 3 separate encounters. Once you see the bleeding icon below active, simply kill the opponent. Once 3 enemies have been killed whilst you're bleeding, this achievement will unlock. Shiny requires you to win a gold badge from an opponent. In order to do this, you'll first need to have a gold badge yourself. Find an opponent at a tavern who also has a gold badge, opt to play with badges, and select any of the gold badge options. If you win the game, you'll not only win the Groschen, but also the opponent's badge as well. A gold badge, however, can also be won at the Samine wedding without needing one during the Wedding Crashers main story quest by competing in the dice tourney. First, obtain badges from Blacksmith Radovan, Chamberlain Ulrich, and Emmerich, then beat Bailiff Thrush, and finally Innkeeper Betty. After winning the match with Betty, you'll win a gold badge, and this achievement will unlock.
Why did I agree?
Where's my back?
Here you go.
Now pay me back my last wager.
Lights Out requires you to kill an enemy who's searching for you. You'll need a dagger equipped in your inventory to do this, as simply choking them out won't work. Find any enemy, throw a rock so the hair icon appears by your compass that indicates they're searching for you, and sneak up behind them to perform a stealth kill. Once they're dead, this achievement will unlock. Penitent One requires you to complete a mini side quest called Pilgrimage, given by any priest within the game. Father Nicodemus can be approached as early as Trotsky Castle, but there are also a few in the Kuttenberg region. Select I'd like to improve my reputation, and the pilgrimage quest will start. This requires going to a specific cross or shrine somewhere on the map and praying there. Once this is done, this achievement will unlock.
Thy kingdom come.
Nimble Fingers requires you to successfully pick a very hard level lock. You'll need a lockpick and a thievery level of around level 14 to even be able to attempt it, but drinking a quick finger potion and some perks within your thievery skill tree can boost your chances of being successful. Once you pick a very hard level lock, this achievement will unlock. Reforged requires you to reforge Sir Radzig's sword after receiving it in the main story quest Storm. You'll need Radzig's sword, 3 Toledo steel, and a forge. Select to craft the item from the list, reforge the sword, and this achievement will unlock. Original Gunslinger requires you to have 4 loaded pistols in your inventory at the same time. You'll need the following items: 4 hand cannons, which can be purchased from Gunmaker Prokop in Kuttenberg or looted off certain enemies, at least 4 lead shot or scatter shot rounds, and a noble belt, which can be purchased from saddlers or cobblers in Kuttenberg. Equip the noble belt, then equip each one of the hand cannons and bullets in each of the 4 slots. Load each one of them individually, and once the 4th and final hand cannon is loaded, this achievement will unlock. Bohemian Sniper requires you to kill an enemy with a headshot fired from a crossbow. The distance is a little hard to gauge, but around 150 feet is a good mark. Find an enemy that's unaware of your presence, equip a powerful crossbow and a strong bolt, aim at the enemy, and hope you get a headshot. Drinking a Bowman's Brew before attempting can help with the zoom, introduce some weapon shake, and stacking some perks within the marksmanship skill tree can help ensure a one-shot kill. Once an enemy dies from a headshot, this achievement will unlock. Weapon of choice requires you to kill at least 1 enemy with each of the following weapons: a longsword, short sword, axe, mace, polearm, bow, crossbow, pistol, and a dagger. Once all these weapons have been used to kill at least 1 enemy, this achievement will unlock with the final kill. Canny Shooter requires you to win the Popinjay Shoot in Kuttenberg on the highest difficulty. This can either be done with a bow or a crossbow by simply talking to Master Neri at this archery range. Select to compete against Master Archers and win the whole tournament. The perk Eagle Eye in the marksmanship skill tree is especially helpful for this, along with a fast drawing bow, since speed is what matters rather than damage. Drinking a Bowman's Brew right before the tournament will also help with the sway and accuracy, and after winning the tournament on Masters, this achievement will unlock.
I'd love to go hunting with you sometime, friend. Great work.
Groschen Must Flow requires you to spend 10,000 Groschen from vendors and traders. Make sure to have at least 10,000 Groschen in your inventory, then go to a high-level armor or weaponsmith in Kuttenberg and purchase 10,000 Groschen of gear or weapons in a single transaction. I'm pretty sure this one is meant to be cumulative, but I have had issues with this working, so it's safest to do this all in a single transaction. Also keep in mind the money has to actually be spent. Racking up 10,000 Groschen in the spent category but instantly selling your junk right back to make a profit will not work. Spend the Groschen first, then in order to get your money back, either do a separate transaction to sell off all your goods, break into the merchant's inventory chest and steal the money back, or just reload a save prior to making the purchase. Once the initial transaction is complete, this achievement will unlock.
Ausgezeichnet. Du hast ein gutes Geschäft gemacht, mein Herr.
The Lord Taketh Away is another achievement that requires the spending of 10,000 Groschen, but this time to the guards rather than to the merchants. It's also another one that I'm pretty sure is meant to be cumulative, but once again, I've had issues doing these within separate finds, so just to be safe, do this all in a single transaction. First, you'll want to go to any small town that you like. Then rack up a bounty of over 10,000 Groschen by killing any civilians and guards that you see. Keep in mind that not all kills are created equally, so try to be selective with who you kill, as different occupations and statuses affect how much the bounty will be per kill. Also keep in mind the perk Fundamentals of Law will also take 20% off your total bounty, so if you have this perk selected in your scholarship skill tree, you'll need a bounty of at least 12,500 to account for the discount of paying this off. After racking up at least 10,000 Groschen in bounties, surrender to the guards and select the option to pay off the bounty. You can get your Groschen back by either pickpocketing it from the arresting officer, killing them and taking it back off their corpse, or simply reloading a prior save. Once the bounty's been paid off, this achievement will unlock.
But I don't want...
Slip the Noose requires a similar setup as the previous achievement, but a couple of extra steps must be completed and a much higher charisma or speech level is required. First, find a town to do your initial killing spree. Kill at least one person, status in this case doesn't matter, and get caught by the guards. The first time you're caught doing this will require you to be branded. Select this option and you'll sit through a short cutscene of Henry getting a brand. Once that's done, you'll now have 48 hours to attempt the next part before the brand goes away, or for anyone playing in hardcore mode with the Menace perk selected, this brand is now permanent for the duration of the playthrough. I suggest going to a separate town where your reputation is fairly high, as it improves your chances of talking your way out of the punishment. In this new town, commit another murder and get caught by the guards again. This time, if your brand is still active, they will threaten you with execution if you submit. You'll need to pass a speech or a charisma check to talk your way out of it. While the options for intimidation and scholarship do appear, I've consistently failed these even with both skills being at 30 apiece, so speech and charisma are usually going to be your best option. A Henry tier Fox potion can buff your speech skill, and either a Mintha or Alliance perfume can buff your charisma skill, along with several perks that give buffs while speaking to guards. Choose whichever option you're most likely to pass, and if you're successful, this achievement will unlock.
I apologize.
Hic-Hic-Boom requires you to craft gunpowder while intoxicated. You'll need an alchemy bench, either the lead gunshot powder recipe or the scattershot recipe, along with the ingredients needed to craft either item, and an alcoholic beverage, wine being recommended since it's not going to make you completely hammered, but it will last for the duration of the crafting cycle. Make sure to save the game before crafting, as this will kill you and give you a unique game over screen. Drink the alcohol, craft either recipe, and if the alcohol is still active by the time you finish the recipe, a large explosion can be heard, and this achievement will unlock. Overkill requires you to kill a bunny with a hand cannon. For this, you'll need a pistol and either one of two types of ammo for the gun, but I strongly recommend using scattershot since it improves your odds of getting a kill since the area of effect is much greater. Try to load the pistol first before finding the rabbit, as this can take some time, then go into the woods and try to find a rabbit. Shoot the rabbit with a gun and this achievement will unlock. Keep in mind that doing this will void the Lent achievement, which I'll be talking about next, so either make a save prior to killing it, or simply wait to do this until after the main questline is finished. And finally, last but certainly not least, we have Lent, which is the hardest and longest achievement within the entire game, requiring you to beat the whole thing without killing any animals or eating any meat or fish throughout the entirety of a playthrough. This can be an issue, particularly in the early game, as there's hostile wildlife all over the map, and for certain achievements, such as rescuing Mutt, will put you in contact with wolves. There's 4 options available for you on how to deal with this. First, you can simply run away. Unfortunately, most times animals like wolves and wild dogs can easily catch up to you, but it is possible to simply just avoid the encounters. Potions like the Aesop can help, especially since they drastically reduce the odds at which wild animals can spot you. If you're put in a situation where you do have to fight, using your fists will never kill the animals, and most of them will run away once their health reaches around 15%. Just try to take note of which direction they run, since if you come across them again, they will most likely try to attack you again. Third, you can use your dog Mutt to your advantage. Mutt has the ability to kill wolves and dogs while their health is low, and any kills done by Mutt won't count against the player. Use your fist to get the animal's health down, then sick Mutt on the specific wolf or dog with low health, and he will take them out for you, keeping this achievement intact. The fourth and final option is the most risky, but it's also the most effective. It involves killing the animals using Bane Poison. You'll first need to learn how to craft a Bane Poison by getting the recipe from Aranka at the Nomad's camp, and ideally craft them up to a Henry level tier. Then have a dedicated weapon combination in your inventory specifically used for animal encounters, preferably something with low damage output like a starting level bow and some hunting arrows, or a poor quality sword, and coat it with the Bane Poison. If faced with an animal encounter, equip this crappy weapon and hit the animal once to inflict the poison, but not do enough damage to outright kill them. Animals that die as a result of poisoning don't count as a player kill and can not only be used against wolves and wild dogs, but also deer and boar as well as any animals except for rabbits. Keep a very close eye on your player menu in the combat tab under the animals killed section. If any of the methods previously mentioned are used, you should have no problem keeping this number as 0 throughout the course of a playthrough. The other part of this achievement, however, is also not eating meat, which is also easy enough to avoid. Visiting the bathhouse, eating from cooking pots, or fruit and bread products are plentiful, but the best thing to gather is honey. Anytime you come across any beehives, make sure to collect all the honey that you can. They come in massive quantities, restore 31 points of nourishment, and never spoil. Having a stack of around 30 to 40 of these will easily see you through the entire playthrough. In fact, when I did it, I still had about 100 left by the time the final siege started. There is one part though that can be a problem, which is during the main story quest Hunger and Despair, and there's something built into this quest that could make you fail this achievement against your will. In this quest, you're tasked with finding food for Hans Capon. Your options are to get some alcohol, kill mutt or a random dog and make soup from them, which obviously you'll fail, so don't do that, or make some shoe soup. If you opt to go with the soup, the game classifies this as a meat item, being leather, so eating it will make you fail this achievement. However, even if you don't eat it, simply having it in your inventory after speaking to Hans will force Henry to eat it during the cutscene and you'll automatically fail this achievement. Trust me, I found out about this the hard way in my first playthrough, so stick to either getting the alcohol or make sure to give Hans both of the shoe soups when speaking to him, or you'll get to the end game and realize this quest just f***ed you with no lube and didn't even call you back. You can keep track of this statistic in your player menu under General and Meat Eaten Statistic. If you finish the entire main questline with both of these numbers still at 0, this achievement unlocks at the conclusion of the main questline quest, Judgment Day. So that covers all 48 base game achievements available within Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, but as a bonus here at the end, here are 2 more free LC achievements available since the Hardcore DLC has dropped. There are 2 achievements here, and both require you to finish the main questline in Hardcore mode. Take note that once this mode is selected at the start of the game, this cannot be changed at any point in the playthrough. The first is Hardcore Henry 2, which requires you to finish the game in a standard Hardcore mode run. Keep in mind in Hardcore mode, the quest markers no longer appear on the player compass until you're very close to them, the player icon no longer shows on your map, the cardinal directions from the compass are removed, the rabbit icon no longer shows, the combat star during combat is removed, and you'll need to start by selecting at least 3 negative perks at the very beginning that will be present for the entire playthrough. The 3 I would recommend taking are Heavy Footed, which increases player noise to a base stat of 25 and makes shoes wear down faster, Hangry Henry, which increases hunger levels quicker and makes food half as filling, and Picky Eater, which quickens food spoilage and limits how much meat you can harvest from animals. All 3 of these can easily be countered by simply keeping a cobbler's kit on Henry's horse to repair the shoes when they get damaged, and as mentioned previously, honeys are pretty overpowered given their abundance, nourishment, and the fact that they never spoil. With these 3 negative perks and keeping a cobbler's kit and a few honeys on your horse at all times, you'll probably hardly even notice the fact that these negative perks are there. Complete the entire game in this mode, and this achievement will unlock at the end of the main questline.
To hell with you!
Against All Odds has the same requirements as Hardcore Henry 2, but requires the selection of all 10 negative perks at the very start. This can be a lot to experience for your very first time with the game, but if you're confident with the game mechanics, feel free to try it, and also within the Notion page, I have strategies for you to employ throughout a playthrough that can help mitigate a lot of the negatives of this mode, so make sure to check that out for a helping hand, and also keep in mind that both achievements will unlock if playing with all 10 negative perks. You don't have to do 2 separate playthroughs unless you opt to go with anything less than 10 negative perks initially. Both achievements will unlock once finishing the final quest in the main questline in a hardcore playthrough. And that was my comprehensive list on every single achievement within Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. There's a lot more achievements that will become available after more DLCs drop, so if you didn't find the one you were looking for, make sure to check the description, as each DLC that drops will have a dedicated video accompanying it with a list of its own. Make sure to give this video a like if you found it helpful, let me know in the comments which achievement gave you the most difficulty, and a special thank you to all the channel members that support this channel. Your contributions are very much appreciated and go a long way. Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.